On this episode, we review our recent trip, which included riding the Mardi Gras float at Universal Orlando, a stay at Holiday Inn at the entrance to Universal, and 2 nights over at Disney at Saratoga Springs Resort. Today is April 18th, 2023, and this is episode 557 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you're going to get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Now, we know that planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times downright frustrating. But Mouse Dining will remove that frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Head on over to msmfriends.com to use this free service.
So today we are actually talking about our weekend, but we're going to do it in 2 parts. So today we are going to talk all about Universal and the Mardi Gras float and the end of Mardi Gras, basically. And then where we stayed, which was actually the Holiday Inn on, let's see, walking distance, but not technically on property.
Correct.
And then our stay at Saratoga Springs.
Yeah, and then the next episode, which will be like a part 2 of this whole trip review, will be all about dining. And that is going to include more than we imagined.
Yeah.
Because all
Super
we had
cool.
planned was the Beer Garden, Garden Rocks dining package to see Blue October. But then we ended up at Trails End as some of the last folks to have the Trails End breakfast. And then this morning, it's Sunday right now, we did Boma breakfast for the first time.
Yes.
So we'll tell you all about that. Spoiler alert, it was awful. I hated it every minute of it.
Okay.
But I'm kidding. So this is going to be an interesting one. This is literally like a lot of times we put together like notes and we kind of lay things out. We got home not long ago. We had to go grocery shopping because we're doing a Wonderland Crew Anyone Can Cook live stream here.
Chicken and waffles.
Yeah, chicken and waffles in literally a little over an hour. So
Kaylin's at work. We have to pick
Kaylin's
her
working.
up. Whew,
Yeah,
our lives are busy.
We're pressed for time today, so we thought it would be fun to do what we do in sometimes when we get home and just sit down and kind of talk about our weekend and almost relive it. Like normally what we do on a Sunday is we get home from one of these trips and we go across the street to our friends, Russell and Claire's, and they're like, "How was your weekend?
Yeah.
Tell us about it."
Yep.
So we're going to pretend that we're doing that
With them.
but now we are recording it. And they're not involved. So,
You want me to go?
how was your weekend?
You want me to ask Russ to
How
come
was your
sit?
weekend, Rhonda? And I'll tell you right now, I'm in a mood. I'm in a spunky mood.
You're in a
So this is going to be
strange mood.
fun. I am in a strange mood. Because the weekend was awesome.
It was. Yeah. Overall, it was fantastic. It was a lot.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a little bit of a whirlwind. We went to Universal on Thursday morning because that evening for the parade we were riding the float, and Jeremy signed us up for that, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But it was just like, it was funny because Jeremy this morning we were waiting to kind of get ready to go to breakfast, and he was like, Universal seems like yesterday but also 7 days ago.
Yeah.
Which, it was Thursday and this was Sunday, so it was, but we just had like just a lot. I feel
It was
like.
a lot.
It was, but
This
it was a good lot.
jam-packed. A good lot. And I think
Yeah.
that's why I'm in a great mood. We'll probably dive into a little bit more when we do the dining review about some things that we were very, very thankful for this weekend. Our friends that are now have become family to us, and spending time with them was amazing. But let's start off with Universal. And let's talk about riding this Mardi Gras float, which is a really cool perk for annual pass holders. There's also a dining package that you can pay for if you're not a pass holder that will give you access to ride on the float. They do this depending on, this is a very long Mardi Gras, first of all. And it's done today. Yeah, this started, February.
Okay.
So, this is kind of like one of the Universal festivals.
Right.
And you can have that option to do a dining package and ride the float, or as an annual pass holder, you can sign up for one.
Right.
I got a little late notice in my email. I just wasn't paying attention. And so when the day came that all of a sudden I was like, oh, we can do this? That's cool. There was not a lot left.
Okay.
But what worked out perfect is we already knew we were going to Disney the 14th through the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, there's April 13th available. Now, I wanted the girls to come, but because it was a Thursday and they weren't coming with us to Disney, wasn't able to do that and bring them. 100% we'll do it next year.
Yeah. You'll be on top of it more.
Oh, I will be on top of it
was
more.
super
But
cool.
yeah, so talk about the whole process of doing this. I mean, and if you want to touch base, I mean, the day was good. We didn't really do a lot that day. Or do you want me to get into what I'm going to get into right now? Because we'll talk about the day, because I got to compose myself a little bit, because it's going to be hard for me.
Okay. I don't even know what you're talking about, but okay.
I was very sentimental.
This past weekend?
Yes.
I mean, on Thursday?
Yes. Specifically because of where we stayed that we're going to talk about at the Holiday Inn.
Oh,
Because we rode the Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh.
I mean, do you want to tell this story from 19 years ago in February of 2004?
Why are you getting sentimental about that? Oh my goodness, you are in a
Because
weird mood.
I am. I really am. No, sorry. Well, why don't you tell the story from February of 2004? We met in December of 2002.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yep. Sure did.
I believe did we see each other one more time, or this was the first time
No,
we
this
saw
was
each
the
other
first time
after that?
back
Okay.
because Brittany, our friend and mutual friend, but my childhood best friend, thought that we hit it off so well that she was actually going to go with her boyfriend at the time to Islands of Adventure, Universal area. And she was like, we're going to get him to come back down. Do you want to go? And I was like, sure. She's like, y'all hit it off so well. I was like, yeah, let's do this. So we did. And it was funny because it was February.
Yeah.
And I had long sleep. It was a unfortunately very warm day. So I think I had like jeans on or something. And Brittany and I both had to buy like cute little Islands of Adventure tanks because it was so hot. So yeah, it was just fun time. We went down there and Brittany and her boyfriend ended up tired and needing a nap. So there was a place that they went and like literally fell asleep. So then it was
Like
just
on the
me and
concrete.
Jeremy. Yeah. And we went and rode the Amazing Spider-Man, which was super fun. And then after that, and they ended up going back to the hotel. I think we didn't, and
we went to the so we went to the TGI Fridays that is connected to Holiday Inn, and they were back in the room asleep. So
or going to sleep or something.
So like long story
and everything
short,
was closing.
Yeah,
so.
everything was closing, and yeah, Rhonda and I were young and honestly falling in love. We sat at the TGI Fridays and talked, and I spent the whole time talking about my ex-girlfriend, but Rhonda still liked me anyway, which was funny. But we ended up last minute at probably like 11 at night or something, because we're still just up and we're hanging out,
right? And we didn't
want to
go to sleep.
Yeah.
So we knew we had to. So we're like, what if we just get another room?
Yeah, just get our own room instead of sharing the one with them. So I remember we're at the check-in desk and we're getting the room, and I said, why don't you, I know she's probably asleep, why don't you text Brittany and tell her we're getting a room? and you said, she's my best friend, she will know. So we get a room, get up the next morning, and we go back to their room and walk in the door because we still had key cards.
Yeah.
And they're both sitting on the edge of the bed like parents. Like, where have you been?
Yeah. And it was super funny because like they literally were almost like mad and happy at the same time that we weren't dead.
They called the police station. They called local hospitals. They called the jail.
Yeah.
To see if we were at any of those spots, because they had no clue where we were. So
But Brittany did say she had the thought and was like, I think they got another room.
Yeah.
But I guess because of everything else, it just overclouded that like part where she was like, no, I know they got another room. We're good.
But what if they didn't? And the big thing too was,
something
you
about
had
my
moved
truck
your
being,
truck.
Yeah, something about my truck being parked.
Yeah.
But I kept it between the lines in front of me.
Yep.
And I backed in, and when I backed in, it
lines
looked
were off.
ridiculous, and maybe like.
So then they're like, did they drown in that pond?
Oh my gosh.
Did an alligator get what is going on?
It was
So
funny, not funny.
But all to say this, so we stayed at that same Holiday Inn for the first time in 19 years. And we got back, and we're going to talk about the Mardi Gras float, I promise. We got back that evening, and we had eaten kind of like an early lunch, and it wasn't even lunch. We had appetizers and stuff at Cowfish. And we were hungry, and there really wasn't any options other than to go back to that same TGI Fridays. And
and you actually wanted to go sit at the same bar and have a drink and hang out, but I was tired.
You were tired.
I was like, I'm done.
So I went for takeout, and I literally sat in the same spot. I remember it, the exact same spot of that night, 19 years ago. That really is what started all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was very sentimental. Like I was just sitting there, and I was like I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh my goodness!
I remember sitting there with you. I remember us talking. I remember that evening so vividly, and it was so cool to be back. It was so cool. We rode Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man that same day, and
that was
we
the
did
only
years
other
ago.
thing we rode, right?
And Gringotts we did.
Gringotts, that's right. I love Gringotts.
But
I was trying to think because there wasn't many rides. It was busy. We were on the end of spring break.
Yep.
And our major thing was obviously to do the float.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to rain, like 90%, 80 to 90% chance of rain. It ended up raining, but it worked really well. Oh, and we saw Poseidon's Fury because that's closing.
Yeah, because that's closing. So you saw it for the first time. It was only my second time.
Yep. It was cool.
It's really cool, right?
It was. I'm
sad that's
really
going
enjoyed
away.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we just did a few things, and it was super nice because when we did the few things, we really didn't get sopping wet.
Mm-hmm.
We went to
pizza at Louis.
Super funny. Kaylin's little ex-boyfriend did a band thing. And yes, if everybody's like, what? They broke up. Yes, they did, unfortunately. But what's great is they are still friends.
Yes.
Everybody's still friends.
But we're a little salty because we love him.
Yes. We're sad. We're sad because he is a great kid. But anyways, that's beside the point. He was actually on a band trip and was going to be there. And we actually met up with him. And when we did, we were at this pizzeria place eating.
Yeah.
Or he was. And we were trying to figure out because we did get the bocadilla.
Yep, we got the bocadilla again, Mardi Gras.
We got the tomato po' boy thing.
Yeah, the fried green tomato
you.
po' boy.
I don't remember exactly.
It was super duper good.
It was.
And if you remember,
and I got pickles on the side, and I loved it.
Thank you for that.
Liked the whole possibly thing.
That bread was so legit to New Orleans.
Yep.
And if you go back to the bracket challenge thing I did with John Self, our friend and food blogger, he said this is one of the top rated dishes, and he was spot on.
It was very good. Yes.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because we had a few things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were like, all right,
we did the twisted tater with the garlic parmesan.
But we were like, let's get the bocadilla again because that was just super good. And we're like, all right, what is still good? But then later we were getting hungry and we weren't going anywhere until after the parade.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually went back to that pizza place that we saw Max, and we ordered us each a piece of pizza. It was great. I mean, again, this was super funny. This is a supposedly New York style. And it, to me, looks amazing. Well, Max was with 3 other friends, and one of the boys was like, yeah, I'm from New York. And he's like, this is not New York
style pizza.
And we were like, oh. But he's like, it's good. He's like, it's not bad. And I was like, okay. So later when we did, like I said, come back, it was neat because Jeremy, we sit down at a table because we're going to mobile order.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice. You can order just a slice. But this slice is like 2.
It's 2 slices worth. Yeah. They're literally cutting. They're basically cutting an entire pizza in 4 pieces.
Yeah.
And you're getting
super
2.
good.
About $12 a slice.
Okay.
But again, that's a quarter of a pizza.
Yeah.
So I loved it. It's some of my
well, I
favorite
got-
in-park pizza that I've had.
It was really good. So I got this Supreme
Yeah,
because I wanted the meat
yours had
and
meat
the veggies.
and veggies on it,
Yes,
and I got pepperoni.
and you got pepperoni, and I
then I got
loved
some
mine.
breadsticks.
And then you got the breadsticks. I
They
didn't
weren't
like.
great.
They
No,
were
they
not.
weren't great.
So if you do go here, this is right across from the Starbucks.
Yep.
This is near Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
So across from the Irish place, the Irish.
Yeah, Finnegan's.
No.
Oh,
where
the
you
store.
Can buy, yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we went in there and it was really good. We ate. Again, I would say get the pizza. Don't worry about the breadsticks. Don't waste your money on that. But yeah, it was really good. So like we said, we rode those few rides because it again was busy and we were just kind of walking around and stuff. And I think that's when we did Gringotts after 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we used Express Pass for
we
that.
did
But we did Standby for Spider-Man.
because it was only a short period.
Yeah.
And it was before 4.
I know this wasn't going to be the dining episode, but we also did cowfish earlier in the day for appetizers and drinks.
Oh, it was hot.
Yeah. And we had to get out of the heat.
He wanted to,
into
yeah,
AC.
that's right. You did want to get out and you were like, why don't we go and have a nice drink somewhere at a bar? So we were trying to stay in the parks, but they don't really have anything. So he actually messaged John and he was telling us. So we could have walked further, but at this point I was like, I'm tired of walking. So we just went upstairs to Cowfish at the bar. And that was super cool. I mean, because we didn't eat a ton. We had
we had the ahi
2
tuna,
drinks. And then we had the ahi tuna teeny.
Avocado teeny. And then we had the Brussels
martini.
sprouts.
Yes, it's in this martini glass. And oh my gosh, the tuna was fantastic.
This
was great.
I'll say that's one of my favorite
that was great.
tuna dishes that I've
great.
had. It was so super refreshing. Yeah, it's served in a large martini glass. The texture of the bottom, because there's seaweed on the bottom, like a seaweed
different.
salad.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird because it's stringy and it gets like stuck in your teeth, but it's delicious if you put everything together.
And the soy sauce, I like that. I thought that kicked it up a notch a little bit.
Such a good addition.
So then I was like a little wanting something else, and I was like, well, let's try to stay healthier at this point in the day.
Right.
And we ordered those, and I loved them. I thought they were
Brussels
fantastic. I loved Brussels. So
how did you like the presentation?
Oh, I hated it. It was
the
awful.
bonita flakes, which is basically like a fish skin that when it gets heated up, it moves as though it is alive. So they serve you a dish that looks like a live fish skin is on your plate.
It was weird. I didn't like it. I moved them. I didn't really eat them.
I
But
didn't
I
get a
love
lot
the
of
Brussels.
flavor from them. Yeah, the Brussels sprouts were
You
outstanding.
took one bite and you were like,
One of
okay.
them was a little fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But these were outstanding. We love cowfish.
Yeah.
I had a buffalo and bacon,
Yeah, you did.
which was like basically an old fashioned with the cherry wrapped in a sugared smoked bacon. That was delicious.
Good.
How was your espresso martini?
Well, I tried to order one and she came out and was like, I'm so sorry. It is because I was tired
You
too.
need to pick me up.
And I needed something. So it really kind of was a bummer because she came out and said, I'm sorry, it's not working. Their espresso machine. I was like, okay, I'll just take a lemon drop martini. And it was great. Don't get me wrong. But again, I was just tired and I knew we weren't doing anything until this float tonight.
Yeah.
So, like I said, moving on from that, like, again, I
talk
feel
about
like
the float
we are all
experience.
over the place, but we did talk about the pizza. Okay. So now let's get to the float.
Yeah. We already warned everybody that this episode is going to be off the rails and ridiculous. We will
trying to
play
think about my
the
day.
dining one. Okay, the dining one.
You're gonna
when we
put
do the
notes
dining one,
together
I'm going
and
to put
you're
notes
gonna-
together. But again, I'm going to get super sentimental on that one as well. I can already tell you as I share stories of Blue October and our friends. But
Oh.
that you guys can wait for that. Let's talk about the float experience.
Yeah. So it was super neat because at this point in our day, it was getting very close to going to check in. So we did. We had to check in at 6.
Yeah, so the parade that evening, because with the way that the sun sets, they're changing throughout the Mardi Gras experience when the parade starts. I think it goes somewhere from like just say 6:30 6:30 to 7 to 7:30,
Right.
depending. So this is at 7:30 because we are getting later in the year, I guess. When the sun sets.
Yeah,
But so you have to check in 60 to 90 minutes ahead of time.
Okay.
So we were like, all right, let's be there at 6:30 at the very latest,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So yeah, go to check in, and at check in, they're going to assign you they're going to give you a wristband, a color-coded wristband that's going to assign you your float.
Yep.
And they told us, they said you're on the King and Queen float.
Yep.
And I thought, well, that seems appropriate.
Yeah, because of our anniversary coming up. Yeah.
And this is at the animal show.
Yes.
Over there.
Yep.
And so over at studio side. So then what? So we go in. What was the process then?
So we go in and we check in and we get all this stuff, and then we go over to like a costume. I'm using air quote costume, like not room but layout, where there's like, all these costumes and it's different ones, and they say, okay, you're king and queen, so they hand us these pink, like really pretty, I guess you call them robes. It goes over your head and it ties on the side. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% sure what that's actually called, but then you have like this really pretty sequiny type, like
it was like
bib.
It was a snap-on. Yeah, bib would be a good.
Bib would be a good
terminology.
explanation of it. But it came and it was a big bib, like really pretty, and it actually velcroed on top.
Very bedazzled.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It was. And then you have the bleachers as at the animal show does, and then you find your like section where it says king and queen, and then you go and sit there. So we sat there for a good 45 minutes.
But they were doing like trivia.
And
then they had a little craft with the beads
mm-hmm.
Where you could make a star. I did not make a star. Mine more looked like at the end it was like a centipede dog of some sort.
It did. You did not do very good.
I got impatient.
I was tired.
I got impatient and I couldn't follow the directions.
I tried to take a nap.
You tried to take a nap?
And then around, getting closer to time, they say, all right, here we go. We're headed this way. So it was super neat because they call our float and we start walking, and they put us, so with the king and queen, there was an actual like air quote unquote king and queen, mm-hmm. and they are getting married tomorrow. So congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
They got married, which was Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to be the king and queen, and they sit up and they have these special robes on and crowns.
They had crowns and everything, and they sat on that big throne.
Yeah,
super
cool,
awesome,
super cool. And then I guess we're the king and queen, like servants.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was the jester.
Okay. But we were, so we go, and it was really neat because we start to go, and kind of like Disney, they were like, okay, we're basically going off stage. Mm-hmm. So you cannot take any pictures. You cannot have your phone out. So we literally don't, and we start headed that way to the backstage, and all the floats are back there, and they put us on, and they, tell us a few things, and then you have beads hanging that are already out of the plastic bag, but then there is a giant plastic bag at your feet that once you run out of those, then you open those up in time. So the lady Debbie, was it?
Debbie, yes. Debbie was awesome.
She was. You almost got in trouble though, I could tell. She was looking. You pulled your phone out for something, and
I was pointing it at the ground.
I don't care.
Checking.
You almost got in trouble.
She did get a little angry at me, I think.
I think so.
That was my bad. I'm sorry, Debbie.
So anyways, but she explains everything, and she's like, we want you to use every bead. She did say that.
Boy, did we.
So literally, it was neat talking to the other people that have to walk next to it, like to hope that nobody throws it back at us, which actually I had a couple thrown back at me.
You did?
Yeah, it didn't hurt. It didn't. But yeah, I remember seeing beads and I was like, oh, goodness. But down around the float is when they're supposed to try to keep people back and blah, 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 blah. So, so we start heading out, and it was really cool because when you get out from backstage and you're on stage, and I had this mask, so everything too, because Mardi Gras was ending, it was actually 50% off everything. So I had these 2 masks, and I put one on that matched the outfit kind of, because then I'm like, I can kind of hide a little bit. This is fun. So I got that, and I wore that the whole time. And it was funny because when you come off stage and you're on stage, I mean, I felt like, and I don't know what your thoughts were, I felt like there were hordes of people.
It was insane.
There were so many people and wanting beads and like, hey, and like it was insane, but amazingly insane.
I will say this. Currently, for me, and you're going to roll your eyes, and listeners that know me well are going to roll their eyes, because I'm a this was the best thing ever guy, because it's very fresh in my mind. This is one of my top 5 theme park experiences ever. I had no
really cool
idea I was going to have this much freaking fun.
Yeah.
Like throwing beads at people.
Yeah. I mean, you literally have people like, oh, can I? And then like little kids. And I mean, I know
I was trying to spot. So I was trying to spot people, and I would look down and I would try and make eye contact with whether it was a kid or an adult or whatever. And I like to find some of the people that were a little bit further back.
You were not allowed to throw overhand.
No, you were not. You have to throw underhand, a kind of shovel pass. And so I would find people and I would make eye contact with them and I would throw it. And when they caught it, and we would give each other like a thumbs up, or we'd point to each other like, I got you. It was just, I don't know. It was so cool. Like, this literally is one of my favorite experiences like that I've ever done. And I can't wait for next year. We're going to get the girls involved this time. I want them to do it. I think they would have a blast, but I have never seen so many people so excited to get plastic cheap beads. Like, it blew my mind. I'm like, these people are freaking out. Like, you would have thought you were throwing them $100 bills.
No, that'd have been crazy.
I would have kept them. So we throw out the beads that are in front of us. They're, I believe, packs of probably 25, and we probably had at least 5 each. Then we had another
I think more
pack.
than that. There was a
more
lot.
than that.
We had a lot.
We had another pack on the ground in plastic we had to break open. And then halfway through the parade, we're like, Debbie, we're out. And I think Debbie was kind of like, all right, I said throw out all the beads, but I didn't mean
I know. I think she got
in
mad
that
at
amount
us.
of time, like that short amount of time that you guys threw these out. And Rhonda was funny because Rhonda was just like, I think double fisting beads.
I was not.
Just willy-nilly
I
everyone
wasn't,
you could.
but I think
you were hitting people in the face. You were.
I was not. I did hit somebody on accident.
I hit
They
a few
weren't
people in
looking.
the face because they weren't looking. It was not.
It
was
wasn't
not
the
our
face.
fault.
Like
No, it was
it
not
was
our
the head
fault.
or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I'm like almost like trying to ringer people.
Yeah. No. Next year I'm going to try to do and make a ring toss game out of it. I'm gonna see if I can
Okay.
throw them around people's necks. 'Cause that would be cool. But
yeah, it was funny because
This
we
was
did run
incredible.
out of beads, and she, not gonna lie, did seem a little
frustrated.
irritated that we did that quick. And I was trying to throw I was actually kind of trying to get like a couple of colors, but then it just I felt like it sped up so much that then I'd grab like 1 or 2, and then when she did give us more beads, and like I said, she didn't seem too happy, I actually was like, okay, maybe I should just throw one.
Well, I told her, I was like, slow down, babe. Like, we still got more float left, and you're running out. Because we would just ring them on our arms. Like, we had an entire arm length of beads. And it was, that was so fun.
It was super fun. And we got rid of all of our beads. I kept a few. I put around my neck actually to take home to the girls if they even want them. I don't even know if they're going to want to, but
I don't even know where they are.
Then it was super funny because Debbie told us to do this. Well, I'm getting off the float and this woman is getting off.
Because I told Rhonda, I was like,
with a
Rhonda's
bag.
like, Rhonda's like, I'm going to keep all these beads. And I was like, no, babe, you're supposed to like throw them out to the people. Like, you shouldn't keep any. And then
this woman comes out with the bag, and I swear to God, probably
unopened bag. I think it was unopened.
No, it wasn't. It was open.
Oh, okay.
But half of it was full.
Yeah.
Like it was a giant. Well, not giant. It was a good big bag, and full of beads. And this one was probably half.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you gonna do with this?
I don't know, but she did. She took them, and I was like, and I looked at him, and I was like, and I wanted to keep some. I didn't, and I kept some, reasonably some.
Yes. We got to keep a few. How moving on? How do you feel about the Holiday Inn at the entrance to Universal?
So then after that, we got off and we were done. We were been in there all day.
Yeah.
So we were like, we want to go. We just want to go.
Yeah.
So we went straight to leave and walked back because we thought about Ubering, because where the Holiday Inn is located, it is, you have the entrance of Universal that'll say Universal and everything. It is on the opposite side. There is a nice structure that they have built since then because it's right across from the DoubleTree. So a lot of people will stay at the DoubleTree or the Holiday Inn.
Yep.
We have stayed at both now.
Yeah.
With that being said, they have built this nice, awesome structure that you walk up and you can ECV it too. It's great. And you go around and around and then cross the main road up top over them. And then you come back down. And then for us, because we were at the Holiday Inn, you had to take one more time and go on the ground, unfortunately, across to the Holiday Inn when the light tells you to.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, at the time we were coming home, there was a pretty bad accident. We did ask. Everybody was okay.
Yeah, we saw the paramedics
tons of
and
cops,
stuff as we walked by and all.
So many things.
They said everybody was all right, but it was...
Right.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, it was a really good walk. Jeremy walks really fast. I would tell you...
It took 15 minutes.
I just started to say
for
20 to 30.
Yes.
For normal people.
Yes, for normal people.
Well, because there's a lot of times, even with our friends this weekend.
Saying I'm not normal?
No, you're not normal.
Okay. That's fair. It's very fair.
We'd be walking with our friends, and I mean, even he does notice it. And he'll
you guys saw just my backside.
Well, you'll be
weekend,
like,
didn't you?
Just tell me to slow down.
Yeah, I said that from the beginning. I was like, look, guys.
Yeah.
I can't help this. I am much like my father in that sense.
Right.
I'm tall. I got long legs. I move very swiftly.
Yeah. So, anyways, it is a fine walk. Like, we were fine because we walk a lot. We don't mind. But yes, it is something to look into of taking a shuttle because I'm pretty sure they have them.
Yep.
Because it's right there.
Yep.
They just don't have Universal buses.
Correct.
That are like at all the Universal resorts.
Correct.
But yeah, or maybe Uber.
Yep.
Depending.
Be a quick Uber ride.
So would, and probably really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with all that being said, we walked and it was fine.
Yeah. Now we didn't really enjoy the amenities. Of course, the TGI Fridays is there.
Right.
They do have a pool. They've got some little like first come first serve style cabanas and all. How did you feel about the room layout? The room was
huge.
A double bedroom. It was really big.
It was
Too big for its own good.
It was, because I think they were double beds.
Yeah.
And they could have easily been
full bed, right? Is the other terminology?
Correct.
Yeah.
They could have easily been queen, let alone a king, because that's how big the room was. So I would suggest, if you're going there and you have more than 4 people, bring an air mattress.
Yeah.
I don't know if they quote unquote allow.
You got to watch fire code for that.
I just started to say
there is 100% room.
Sometimes
to
they'll
put
do
6 people in there.
But sometimes they'll do, what do you call it?
The rollaways.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we didn't look into that.
Right.
But it was a fine room. It is dated. It would be great if they like refurbed some stuff, put in queen beds, because there was carpet on the ground.
Yeah.
Put in some laminate, and then
the bathroom is tight. The bathroom is very tight for a room that size.
Right. It is very tight.
And
one sink, one toilet, and one shower,
all in one little small space. Yes. And I only bring up that point because it was only the 2 of us, so it's perfectly fine.
Oh,
we're okay with that.
100%.
But if you were sharing this room with kids or another couple, it would be a little bit tight in the bathroom.
But even for you and I sharing, like at one point, we're not that couple that if I'm doing stuff at the sink, he's going to go to the bathroom. No, we are that couple that you got to go to the bathroom. All right, I'm out. Like,
I mean, to be fair,
we're not.
because I'm in a spunky mood. You did go to the bathroom while I was putting my contacts in.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Huh.
It was number 1, so that would made it much better. So I don't think you'd have gone number 2 there.
Well, you were
while I
just
put my
taking too long
contacts in.
putting your
I probably
contacts
was.
in.
I probably
then.
was, yeah.
But this is where I learned from Lucy. I have this awesome mirror. It's Amazon, and we can actually put the link underneath. It was cheap. I got one for my daughter. I love it because I will come out. So, for example, Jeremy needed to use the restroom, and I'm like, why am I standing at the sink anyways? I don't need to. So I got all my makeup stuff, sat on the bed, and I have this awesome mirror that is empty. So that is
yeah, it lights up around the edge. Like it has LED lighting around the edge of the mirror. It's very portable. It's about the size of an iPad.
Yep.
And again, I will try and remember to put the link to it on Amazon in the show notes or post it out when we do this episode. But it's been a real game changer. And all of this sounds like a little bit negative, but we loved the room. We love the location. We were all in with parking, about $177 for the night.
Right, and
Like,
it's
you
not
can't beat
negative.
You can't beat that.
Right, it's literally just I'm telling people what to expect.
We'll stay here again.
Yeah.
100% we'll stay here again.
Yeah.
And we would stay here with the girls. I just wish, like you're saying, they would refurb a little bit and make better space or make better use of the space, I should say.
100%.
Because there was enough room in one corner. And I'm thinking of Town Place Suites over at Flamingo Crossing that has that couch bed, that pull-out couch bed.
Yeah. Yep.
And 2 queens. You could fit that in here and you could sleep 6.
100%.
And sleeping 6 at a price like that is not easy to find.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can be at the entrance to Universal, you are technically within walking distance, and you can pay under $200 a night is outstanding.
Absolutely.
Plus, you get a TGI Fridays, and you get their loaded little potato wedge fry nacho thingies.
They were
whatever
weird,
we got back to
but it
the
was
room.
good.
They were so good.
Yeah.
It was late night. We were hungry. That was awesome.
We did not stick to our. We tried to eat a little healthy, but that really went out the window this weekend.
Yeah,
it's fine.
we have food babies. We'll talk about that in the dining episode.
Lord
We
of mercy.
ate. We literally did the most sit down restaurants by doing one a day, which is a lot for us. We don't typically do one sit down restaurant a day, and we did it for 3 days in a row at Disney. So let's move over and talk about Saratoga Springs. We were in a 2-bedroom villa with DVC points, very much thanks to Chuck and Amy. Talk about Saratoga Springs. We've stayed there twice before. We've done a 1-bedroom villa. We've done a studio, and I'm going to throw it out there. This is highly, highly underrated. This place is gorgeous.
It is,
I
and
think
it's super neat
beautiful.
because Amy did say that it is completely refurbed now, because there were some refurbs and going on, and then the whole actual place is refurbed now, which is great. It's really cool. If you get lucky enough to stay in the paddock, which we did.
Recommend.
Yes.
I put the juju. That's what she requested. And then we were coming out. Well, first of all, it was great because we showed up and there's a 100th anniversary wrapped camper, which is taking the characters around. And we walk in as soon as we get there, and there was Donald, Goofy, and Pluto, all in their 100th gear. It's amazing. So that was a good start to it. And we got the 100th. We got the 100th mug.
We did.
Had to get it.
So the paddock actually, and that's where we were like, after we checked in, we didn't have a room number, but we were like going to park over there just to like, all right, we're manifesting it. We're staying in the paddock.
I did the penny in the fountain.
You told everybody your wish.
No, but the first one I said my wish and I threw it and it hit the concrete and it banked off and went into the grass. So then I threw the second penny, but I didn't tell you what I was wishing for.
We all knew what it was.
You had no idea.
We actually got to stay there. And the reason we keep talking about that and what the point is it is actually very close walking distance from there to Disney Springs. Yeah. You can take boats to Disney Springs from your other places where you're staying. And Saratoga is a very wide range.
Huge.
Resort.
Yeah.
Super cool. The pools are super cool, both of them. We've actually done both because I remember walking past it with Amy the other night. And I didn't know it was the main pool until I got to the main pool, and I was like, oh yeah. And then it was like, okay, we've done both of these, which is super cool. But yeah, so it was super neat. The room is quite amazing. You walk in and you've got a little like foyer area. You literally have an entire kitchen with a stove, an oven, a microwave, a dishwasher, like a full kitchen where if you order vacation grocery delivery, you can cook a bunch of your meals if you want, instead of spending some money at other places, or maybe take some of that and
like all the money that we spent at dining.
But we didn't cook. I mean, another time would be neat to go and actually have it delivered and then let you cook everything.
I would like to do that.
That'd be cool.
I would like to do that sometime. And this room was great because this is a standard legit 2-bedroom. It is not a lock-off. So if you're unfamiliar,
Correct.
the lock-off rooms are ones that they can convert. So they can take a 1-bedroom, and then it has the secondary studio. I apologize for that dinging in the background. That has a secondary studio that you can either lock or unlock.
Right.
So they can make them separate units. This is a 2-bedroom. That's the way it's made.
Yep. So like I said, you walk in and you've got a little foyer area, like small little, that you can put a few things. And then off to your right, you have the 1-bedroom with 2 queen beds and a full nice bath with 2 sinks. And then, off to your left, you actually have your full kitchen and then your living area, which is super cool because when they refurbed them, they actually did in the wall Murphy beds. So you have that couch, but you don't have to take off cushions. You don't have to move things. You just have to move the ottoman, which is super cool. And you pull this whole thing down. And the better part of this is there's no bar in your back.
And as opposed to the pull-out couches in the old like DVC
super
style.
Great. And then at the end of our pull-out Murphy bed, looks like a giant like furniture piece that you pull that down, and it's a nice little single bed that has Goofy on a horse and super cute. And behind our Murphy bed is super cute.
Yeah.
With Minnie and Mickey and Barry. I love all the art in there.
Yeah. And it's super comfy. I'll be honest, if you've listened to us for, several years, I was not a very big fan of Murphy beds when they did the refurbs originally over at, All Star and Pop Century and all of that. I love these Murphy beds.
Like Pop you like now and everything else?
Well, my only still issue with Pop is that I am going to have bruised shins.
Yeah, that's true.
Regardless of I'm going to have them. And the spacing here is wonderful. The mattress is incredible. I love this layout. The only thing that I thought was weird is the master bath, which we were sharing because we were on the Murphy bed.
Yep.
Is in that master bedroom with the king bed is that you have to go into the shower area to get to only the toilet.
Yeah, so there's basically let's see, is there 3 sections? There's 3 doors. Yeah.
Yep.
So you have going into your master with the king bed and all these, in every room there's these giant big TVs. And then you have a spot where you can block, and you have your sink and then your Whirlpool bathtub and a nice big, closet. You open that other door, then you have another sink and a shower. Then you open another door and you have a toilet room. So if you're in the master bedroom,
you're just opening and closing.
I just started to say there's
right.
3 doors.
I think so.
To open.
Just to
right.
do your business.
But then you're technically, if we were sharing, so if you're technically in the shower, you have to close that other door that leads out to the living room area.
Now, I will say, I mean, if you're you're obviously not staying with strangers. You're staying with friends or family.
Oh, absolutely.
Technically, if somebody was in the shower It has a glazed glass on it. If somebody else had to come in, I
No,
don't think you're going to
no.
see their bits and pieces.
I think you would. I'm
You
sorry.
would?
I don't know.
I think it would be. I think it would be like a censored bits and pieces. Like if you were
That'd be
to
weird.
if you were to watch it on like public television, it'd be like a blurred spot. It'd be like where they blur it.
Okay. Well,
I don't think you can make out details.
anyways, you know, if
I would
somebody,
still knock. I mean, I wouldn't just
Oh,
barge.
my
I'd be
Lord.
like, "Hey, listen, man, I
well,
really got to go. I had my coffee. Can I get in here?" And then you could like shield your head a little bit, but I don't think you're gonna. I don't think it would be explicit.
okay. Anyways, if somebody's not sharing and being like, then you can just shut all them, and then just when people are visiting,
Yes.
you can open those doors.
It was a very nice shower. It had the
Yeah, it was.
dual heads and
Yeah.
it had like the
Yep.
hand wand thingy or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I really like those. I would
Yeah.
like to get one of those put into our shower. I
know
think.
you've said that.
It's just they're like almost. Well, they have the ones that are like almost like a massaging head,
Mhm.
which would be nice because
Mhm.
it really gets you nice and clean. But the grounds here are beautiful.
Yep.
I don't think people talk about Saratoga a lot. I think it's a little bit forgotten.
Okay.
And I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really
Um,
great. And again, the room was great. And you do have, we were on the first floor.
Mhm. That was nice.
So you do have that nice little balcony slash, you know,
Yeah, which you
It's not a
threatened me to
balcony.
sit out on because you assumed that danger noodles were just going to come out and about
they do.
from the bushes.
They do.
I didn't, but it was like you didn't want me to go out there.
They're just, hey,
Like I was like,
warning you,
I was
like, hey.
I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go sit on the balcony this morning. It's nice out. And you're like, there's probably snakes out there. And I was like, dude, why would you even bring that up? I don't understand. You're like, you're probably gonna die if you go out on that balcony.
I did
I'm
not
just
say
saying.
that. But if you were up a floor, it would be better and you wouldn't have to
Definitely
really
safe.
worry about
Yeah.
critters. But you also like might see a bunny. So
Yeah, you could.
yeah.
We saw a lot of the runners because it was a race weekend for the
Mhm.
springtime surprise. So that was really
shout
cool
out to
see all those.
Sharon.
Yes, Sharon, all
Congratulations.
three, and Nathan Bishop.
Nathan.
He did all three, which was awesome. And congratulations to all the runners.
Oh, absolutely. But with the
And-
people that we knew and that,
Yeah.
you know, and that's, you know, thanks to Sharon is what we will talk about on our next episode with the beer garden
Yeah.
and her getting us that whole
reservation.
So anyways, yeah, Saratoga's amazing. It was great. We had some really good times this weekend.
We did.
We really did.
This was fun. This was yeah, when we look back, and I posted this on my Facebook earlier, like when you think of 5.5 years ago, we started this little silly podcast and had this idea, and this was a weekend of bringing all these people together and our friends because we had a lot of us there.
Yes, and by the way, Chuck, I know we were talking about DVC points, but Chuck Marchetti can actually book cash rooms.
Mhm.
They do take cash rooms, and sometimes you can get a nice deal on these. So, totally hit him up.
Yeah, mainstmagictravel.com,
Absolutely.
free quote.
Yep.
But yeah, and of course, Chuck and Allie and Alex were out here, and Rachel was out here, and Olivia, and we got to have lunch with Mark and Figgy, and just this was like one of those weekends where I stood back at some points and I was like, holy moly, this is crazy. Like we're all here and we're all together because of Disney and because of 6 years ago we were like, hey, let's do a podcast, and now these are family. And it's pretty awesome. And so it was very, very cool. Exciting. We're super excited to talk about the dining in the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
We have
Love food.
so much good dining coming up.
Mhm.
We apparently now are breakfast people.
I wouldn't call us that. Maybe when we're
breakfast research people.
yes.
Okay, we're
When
researching
we're
for y'all.
gone
Yes.
on a vacation, like, yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. So tune in if you want to hear the next episode about all of our dining, which will include beer garden. It will include Trails In breakfast. It's going to include
That is closed now.
Boma breakfast. I know Trails In, RIP. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button in your little podcaster feed there. And then if you want to hear more or see more like Wonderland Crew, this was a Wonderland Crew weekend to see Blue October.
Yep.
You can check out wonderlandcrew.com. And not only Rhonda, but myself would be super thankful if you go ahead and you click that little 5-star and then you leave us a rating and review.
Because Jeremy will get emotional because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.